Hello and welcome back to Nick Does. I'm Nick and today I do the Rubik's Cube. Everybody knows about this puzzle. Most people know somebody who can solve it. I learned to solve it when I was like 10 years old from a website online with a bit of my dad's help. I was really into it. I got pretty quick, pretty fast because it's all I did every day for a long time. I would stop, come back to it, stop, come back to it. Recently, I've been into it because I just finished teaching a 5-year-old how to solve the Rubik's Cube. And then that got me thinking, one, maybe I should make a YouTube series about this and help teach other people. And two, I do like it a lot and maybe I should get better. So my best time for the Rubik's Cube is about 15 seconds. And my average time right now, if I'm actually trying, is probably 22 seconds. And getting below 20 has been a goal for a long time. It's been very elusive. Sometimes I put in a ton of work for a few weeks and then kind of lose it for a while and lose my progress. And I can't seem to get a sub 20 average, which is super frustrating and has been a goal and benchmark for a while. So this year, that's what we're gonna do. I estimate 6 months of decent work will get me there. And for anyone who's not really familiar with speed cubing or how that stuff works, most people who learn the Rubik's Cube, they start by solving it in about 10 minutes. That seems to be an average of what it takes for someone to have all the pieces, maybe they have reference notes or something, and then to just click, click, click one by one. It seems to be like 10 minutes, but then they very quickly can drop to say 5 minutes once they don't need to reference their notes or they get stuck or they make mistakes. It's just slow solving, 5 minutes. Then most people get down to 2 minutes or so, just if they're puttering around. This often happens back home over the Christmas holidays, for example. I teach some people the Rubik's Cube. They start off super slow. They do it every day for the holidays because they have nothing else to do. And then they're doing it in like 2 minutes. And that's awesome. And most people kind of stop there. If you really push it, just with the beginner basic stuff, you can get to like a minute, which is good. And then if you really go hard, you can get to like 30 seconds, which is what I did. And I kind of flattened out. I plateaued at 30 seconds a long time ago. But if you just want to impress your friends and just have fun, 30 seconds, you'll be the fastest person most people know at the Rubik's Cube, which is kind of cool. And then what's the motivation to keep going? Well, if you really like it and you like puzzles and you like a challenge, you do what I did. You learn a couple more things, you practice more deliberately, and then you break it down to a 25-second average and then 22-second average. But then getting past that 20-second mark, it's just been elusive for a long time. Super frustrating barrier. And I've kind of figured out what I need to do. So for the Rubik's Cube, for me, there are these things called algorithms. They're just, for me, it's later on in the cube because I use a certain method most people don't use. But I only use about 4 algorithms, which are basically patterns that do something you need to accomplish on the cube. And then solving a Rubik's Cube in what I did was 15 seconds with only 4 of those patterns or algorithms apparently is quite impressive. But I don't really know because I just always did it the same way. But it's time for me to learn some more. Basically, I have blind spots that need to be taken care of, as well as look ahead. So that is, instead of stopping, freezing, figuring out what I have to do, and then really quickly doing a whole bunch of moves, it's slowing down slightly so that I can constantly and consistently be turning, which is more efficient overall. Other than that, there's not too much to break the 20-second barrier. But once we do, who knows, maybe I won't be satisfied and we'll have to go for 15 seconds and then 12 and a half seconds, but who knows. So for right now, the goal that I'm setting out right now in this video for Nick Does the Rubik's Cube, is solving a Rubik's Cube in an average of under 20 seconds. And that would mean an average of say 10 or 12, whatever, if we want to be legit. So that's what we're gonna do, among our other things. This is definitely a lower priority hobby for the year, a lower priority skill. However, it's also one that can just be done kind of whenever, when you're tired after a long day at work, early on a Saturday morning, late at night when you can't sleep, you can just take this out and do some practice. So I figure if I just fill those little 5 and 10 minute gaps here and there, in 6 months, maybe I'll have a sub 20 average on the Rubik's Cube, which I think is pretty cool. So that's what we're gonna do, that's what we're gonna work on. If you're interested in learning, I've wanted to make a YouTube series on this for ages. I taught a 5-year-old we did an hour a week for about 8 weeks. Something like that. Might have been a little bit more, 12 weeks. But anyways, most people can seem to pick it up in something like 10-ish hours, and a lot of that time was just me watching him solve and practice. So it wouldn't take that long at all to just get the basics, and then we can go from there. So if you're interested, let me know. Other than that, you can follow me as I try to get better at this funny little puzzle. So right now, here's a clip of me solving it, because you can't talk about the Rubik's Cube for 5.5 minutes without actually solving one. So there we go. This is Nick Does. Today, Nick does the Rubik's Cube, and Nick will be doing the Rubik's Cube for the next 6 months. All right, see you later. Bye.